Hey students, this is lesson 6 to finish this activity with the Apple Cheetah and the books through the cell phone screen. Before we get any further, I want to go over a organization strategy on the layers palette where you can create a folder. So if you go to layer and you go to new and you can choose folder, and then you can change the name of this folder. So if I double click on it, I will call mine work folder. And the reason I'm making this is because I'm at this stage in the project where I don't need all of these layers visible anymore. Not visible, but I don't need them involved in my workflow. So what I can do is I can drag them into the work folder. Just like that. And anything else I don't need immediate access to. I don't want to delete the layers, but I just don't want them in my life right now. Then the folder can be sewn up like this. You can open the folder. You can turn the whole thing on and off. You can also, if you were to change the order of something in a folder, it moves all that stuff together. So that's something to keep in mind for the future, is you can use folders to organize or group your layers in various ways, and it can be really useful. Okay, so now we're going to progress this project, and this original phone layer, I don't need that, so actually I'm going to go ahead and just put it in my work folder. There we go. And I'll make that work folder invisible. So at this point, the layers we're working with are the Apple Books copy, the original one. And I'm just going to get rid of the word copy because it's less confusing that way. So we have Apple Books. Then we have the Apple Cheetah. I'm going to change the name of my layer to Apple Cheetah. And then layer 1, this would be the hand phone. Okay, turn that on. There we go. All right, so what my goal is I actually want the background to be just the plain Apple. And I want inside the phone screen to be showing the Apple Cheetah. And that's what I want to achieve to finish this project. Okay, so what we'll do is let's just talk about the phone screen. So I'm going to separate the inside of this screen from the phone in the hand by copying and pasting it into a new layer. Okay, so let's zoom in. Now this phone screen, it's not a perfect rectangle, but it's all straight lines. So if I get it like that, I can go to my polygonal lasso tool. I'm going to make sure feather is set to 0. And what I can do is I can go to the corner, click, and drag. Oh, didn't like that. Let me undo. Start at a corner. How about this corner? Click, and then it lets you drag a line. And then I'll go to the next corner, click, and drag another line to the next corner. Click, drag another line to the next corner. I guess if you want to be maybe on the line or slightly out on the outer edge of the line, and then finish where I started. There we go. So I have that selected, and now I can go edit, copy, and then edit, paste. So now if you look at my layers, I go to my move tool, I want to keep it right there, but you can see I have this all by itself. So I'll hit Command Z because I want to keep it right there. Now we're going to do something new, okay? And it's called a clipping mask. So what I'm going to do is go to my Apple Cheetah layer. I'm going to move it to the top of the list above my iPhone screen, and it's covering it up. And I'm going to create what we call a clipping mask. So I'll go to Layer and go down to Clipping Mask, and what it will do is it's going to link the Apple Cheetah layer to the phone layer, and it is only revealed inside that. So now if I go to my move tool and I move the Apple Cheetah layer, you can see it's only revealing itself inside the phone screen. Now, just for experimentation's sake, if I were to go to my phone screen and move that, you can see that the Apple Cheetah layer, it sort of stays put, but it's like I'm viewing it through a window or something along those lines. So I'll hit undo because I want it to stay in position. So now all I want to do is on the Apple Cheetah layer, I want to position it, and I'm going to use Shift and resize it down. I'm going to shrink it and then reposition it so that I get to see more of it in there. I think that looks really cool right there. You can use your own best judgment. Now when I pan back, that's what we have. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, what if we do something else? I have an idea. Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to save this. Because right now the project seems finished, doesn't it? But what if we do a little trick? We put a little bit of a glare on the phone. Okay. So I'm going to make a new layer. This is kind of like the glare on the lips of the apple that we did a few lessons ago. I'll create a new layer. And I'll go to my brush tool with white. And maybe I want to put a gentle glare, like maybe just like right across there like that. Okay, so remember I'm on this new layer. So this line I just made, maybe I make a smaller one, maybe straight across like that. Okay, and now I'm going to blur this. So filter, blur, gaussian blur. I want a serious blur. It's not responding very well for me, so I gotta be patient. There we go. All right, so I'm look kind of good right there. So that looks like an interesting glare. Hit OK. And I can also lower the opacity of that glare layer a little bit. So if it's too much, but now the problem is it's hitting the hand in the background. So there's different strategies, but I could put a raster mask on it. So I'll just go to my brush, switch to black, go big brush. We don't have to be perfect here, but I'm just going to eliminate that glare kind of around the phone. There we go. Very subtle. Now you can see if I turn it on and off, what it sort of does to the phone. Now if it washes out the phone too much, you can use your raster mask. Maybe I switch my softness of my brush down a little bit, and I could just sort of get rid of some of that glare. Maybe make it look like a streak or something like that. So it's super subtle. Maybe you don't even notice a difference, but I think it adds a little bit of realism. So at this point, I'll hit File, Save. Okay, so this Photoshop document is complete. The effect is done, but let's say now I actually want to turn it in, okay? So we want to save it, not as a Photoshop document, but we want to export it as more of a flattened picture file. So I'm going to go to File, Export As, and this is where you can choose what you want to export it as, PNG or JPEG. PNG and JPEG are pretty much standard, okay? So I'm going to choose JPEG. And when I export it as a JPEG, we pick quality. I'm going to put the quality to the highest. And I'm perfectly good here. and I'll hit save. And now it's going to say, where do you want to save it to? And I can call it Apple Cheetah Books Final. Okay. And then I save it. And now it is downloaded as a JPEG to my folder. So if I show this in the Finder, you can see Apple Cheetah Books Final.jpg, and it is just a normal photo. It opens up in preview, and that is the completed activity. That's the completed project. Okay. So this is the final lesson for the Photopea Basic Skills unit. And I hope you learned a lot and you're able to use some of these techniques and build off of them and learn more techniques going into Project 1. See you later.